Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and it's Friday night, which means it's appointment with fear night. So let's hit the intro, and then we'll get on with it. Right, I'm back. Right, so if you've read the info, the title, you know that this week we're doing John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, one of my favourite horror films. It's really, really good. So let's have a put the damn thing. So let's get it up, and we will begin to have a look at it. Obviously, as I always say every week, we're not watching the film. I'm just going to go through it in a series of stills, and we'll talk about it, won't we? I shall describe it and talk about it. Right, so off we go. There we go. Oh, my favourite logo. Look, hang on, let me hit play. There we go. I don't know why. It's just that is my favourite logo. I don't know why. I think it's just cool. I think it's just a cool logo because it's spacey and I'm a nerd. But anyway, so here we go. It's a Universal film. Right, Larry Franco production. Was it Larry Franco that directed Q the Winged Serpent? I think it was, wasn't it? Terrible film, but a great film at the same time. Right, we see this chap. He is some sort of priest. I think it says his name, but I've forgotten. I've seen this film a million times, and I never pay attention to names. I'm useless. I just enjoy the films. Anyway, he's on his deathbed, and he's got this little metal like chest in his hands, and he won't let go. Sorry, I've got a tickly nose. As soon as I start live, I get a tickly nose. We're gonna have an argument. Anyway, we're in Los Angeles, by the way, in the present day, and he's come to see the bishop or whatever. And anyway, he passes away in the night. So, and then we cut to this is Jameson Parker as Brian somebody or other. I don't know, I'll have to have a look. I can't remember the name of the characters. Brian Marsh. There's Jameson Parker as Brian Marsh. This is the only film I've seen him in. But you know, from the commentaries and stuff that you see on the DVDs, it seems like he's a big deal. I don't know why, but I've only seen him in this, and he's a bit of a stalker in this film. He's got a terrible moustache, worse than mine. But anyway, so right, this is one of the nuns. She finds that the priest has passed away, and she calls in. This is Donald Pleasance as Father, somebody or other. Father. It just says priest. Maybe he hasn't got a name in this film. That's weird, isn't it? It just says priest, so as him. He asks, you know, what was he doing here? He said he had an appointment with the bishop. I think he knew he was dying, so he needed to pass on his obligations to another. You'd think they'd have some sort of arrangement so that when he starts getting old and feeble, that somebody automatically takes over, wouldn't he? You'd think so, but no. So anyway, so Donald, priest, he gets the little box so you can't see it for my fat head. Hang on, just get rid of me a moment. There we go. You see it there. Hang on, where are we? I mean, mouse pointer's disappeared off your screen for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, it's there next to his right hand. His right hand, a little box. It's got a key in it. We find out what that's for a little bit later. So here we're introduced to Victor Wong as Professor, is it Birack? I think it's Professor Birack. Yes, Professor Howard Birack, who's a professor of like quantum physics and stuff like that. So we're introduced to him. He's the main boffin of the movie, because this is a horror film that mixes horror, science fiction, and, you know, science, in quotes. There's a lot of quotes, you know, for the science parts. You know, using cool sounding terms, to do with quantum physics and all that, and a bit of gobbledygook basically. A proper quantum physicist would probably laugh in your face if you said some of this stuff. By the way, the titles are playing over this as they do with some cool John Carpenter and John Howarth. Is it John Howarth? Alan Howarth music. Oh God, frighten me to death. My son's upstairs and he's making spooky noises. He probably knows I'm doing this and he's making spooky noises upstairs. A sod. Oh. There we go. Jameson Parker as Brian. He gets a hand as though he's like a big deal. Maybe he is, but I'd never heard of him, and I've never heard of him since. I'm sorry, maybe he's super famous in America, but he's not over here. Right, so this is Professor Birack giving his teaching his classes at I presume it's the university, and he's talking about quantum physics, and he's talking about how in science they've learned that not everything can be proven, and that we think things are solid, he goes with his nose and that, and we think the tabletop's solid, but it's not really, because it breaks down into atoms and the spaces between atoms, and we find out that it all collapses, reality collapses in the subatomic level into ghosts and shadows. Ooh. So that's what happens there. Oh, there's Dennis Dunn. We may know from Big Trouble in Little China. He did that. Did he do that before this or after this? This is 1987. When were Big Trouble in Little China out? I can't remember. It's either before or after. I can't remember. I think Big Trouble in Little China, I think, were after this, was it? I don't know. Another John Carpenter film, by the by. There's Lisa Blount as Catherine Danforth. There we go. Sadly, she's passed away, apparently. I looked up, to see which of the actors were still around, and Lisa Blount's passed away. It's quite sad. I think she died quite young. But I'm not entirely sure, and I don't know what she died of. So, but she has passed away. Obviously, Victor Wong's passed away, and there's another actor later on, Jesse Lawrence Ferguson. He's passed away. I think that's about it, really. I don't think any of the other actors have passed away. Oh, Donald Pleasance obviously passed away quite a long while ago. Right, so she's along with Jameson Parker, Brian Marsh, she's the other main character. She's the female lead. Right, so we go to the church, St. Goddard's Church in Los Angeles. This is a real church. You can see it on Google Earth. I've looked it up before. It's really there, and it's pretty much the same actually. So here's Donald Pleasance. Can you see him? Oh, he's hiding behind me. Me red boxes. Speaking of which, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and all that stuff, and follow me on the social medias as it says in the boxes, if you can read them. Anyway, he's come to the church. This is where the priest came from whence he came. So he's got to use the key. It's a run-down church. Apparently, I don't know if it's been desanctified or not. I don't know, but I doubt it. But it's not open as a regular church. It's just there for one thing. It's been there since the 1950s. And there's something in the basement. You probably know if you've seen this film. By the way, there's going to be spoilers, obviously. So he goes in and uses the key, and it takes him down into the basement. And then we get another bit of credits. Right, this is Catherine. She's walking about the campus, and we see Brian there stalking her. He kind of does. He kind of does stalk her. But he gets his girl in the end. But before that, it would be a bit creepy. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, my mouse pointer's back. That's weird. I wonder why it disappears sometimes and then reappears. Very strange. Anyway, he thinks he's blown it because she comes out with this handsome young dude. But they must just be friends. Because he doesn't give up. Anyway, meanwhile, Donald, the priest, who has no name, the priest with no name, should have got Clint Eastwood to play him, shouldn't they? Is typing out a letter to Professor Birack. See if I can get on it. There we go. Dear Howard, I have discovered a most unusual phenomenon in which you might be interested. It is of utmost urgency. Hang on, there we go. There's a address there, by the way. The Doppler Institute of Physics. Is that a real place? I don't know. It's of the utmost urgency underlined that we meet. So he's seen what's in the basement. We haven't seen it yet, but we're going to see it soon. Bit more credits. Carrying on with his lesson, he's talking about, quantum theory and stuff. There we go. Does his ghosts and shadows thing. This is the priest. Gets driven around in a limo. So it must be important. He arrives. I think he arrives. Oh, no, it's not a priest. It's a nun. A nun arrives to see the Professor Birack. Is she hand-delivering the letter? I don't know. Maybe she is. Probably. It'd be quicker than the post, wouldn't it? So there she is. She's talking to the professor. That the priest wants to talk to her. By the way, I forgot his name. Walter. Yeah, Walter. Dennis Dunn plays Walter. That's Walter. That's Brian. They're wondering what's going on. So the priest heads to not the priest. Birack heads to the priest's offices. I presume it's his office. There he goes, meets him. Look, and he gives him the lowdown. There we go. Written by Martin Quatermass. Who's that, you may ask? Well, it's some fella called John Carpenter. For some reason, I don't know why. He might mention it in one of the commentaries on the DVD. I don't know. I can't remember. But he decided to take the name Martin Quatermass instead of using his own name. There must be a reason for it, I don't know. But he used Quatermass because he's a big Nigel Neal fan, even though they'd had a falling out a few years earlier over the script for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, because Nigel Neal wrote the original script for that, and then it was cast aside and a new script was written. Which was still very Nigel Neal in feel, but Nigel Neal says he had nothing to do with that. His own script was very different, he said. So he's used that because Quatermass, obviously, is the character created by Nigel Neal, and John Carpenter did a whole backstory for Martin Quatermass, saying he was the brother of Bernard Quatermass, who founded the British rocket group, but he became a screenwriter, and this is his first script, but it's John Carpenter. Right, moving on. Right, this is Brian. He's watching his telly. He's practicing his card trick. Oh, you can't see. It's behind me fat head again. He does card tricks, which has a point later on in the film. He's watching a news report about like a supernova or something that's happened, and it's taken so many thousand years for the light to reach us. But then as he's watching, the camera goes to the back of his TV. See, I've gone too far now. Look. Go back a little bit further. Oh, for God's sake. The camera pans down, and we see the back of his TV. He's got ants crawling all over it. All over the back of his telly. You'd think he'd notice that, wouldn't you? I mean, you can hear them if you watch the film. But it's supposed to signify that the Earth is changing, and they keep looking up and seeing the setting sun, and there's like the moon above it, and it gives the impression of like devil horns, the crescent moon over the sun. It's like devil horns. The devil is changing the world and the universe. Things are not making any sense anymore. Right, so Professor Birack, I do believe, arrives at the church at St. Goddard's with the priest. I wonder why they didn't give him a name. It's very strange, isn't it? But it's going to show him what's in the basement, and we're going to see. And it's the first time we see the cylinder. They get there eventually, don't worry. And he says, "What is it?" There we go. There it is. Just show it there, and it's a swirling goo. I've tried looking up how they did this. I don't know if it tells you in any like making of documentaries or on the commentaries. I've tried looking, and all I can find is that there was like what they call it, like clear plastic, what they call it, plexiglass blades inside that are spinning. So I think there probably is a liquid in there. And apparently it weighed a lot. It weighed like 3/4 of a ton or something like that. 1,500 pounds. So there's liquid in it, swirling around. It's all lit up, and it looks kind of, it's a good effect, I must admit. But that's all I could find. So I'm not exactly sure that's how it was done, but that's what I found. Right, what was I saying? He asks what it is, and the priest says, a secret which can no longer be kept. So he's looking at a book. There's a book that's been overwritten numerous times. I think it's called, is it a palimpsest or something it's called, something like that. And there's numbers and all sorts in it, and he says it's got to be translated. So this is what is called biracking. He wants to prove scientifically what this cylinder is and what this book is telling us. He wants it in scientific modern terms. Because apparently the Catholic Church, has been hiding this cylinder for 2,000 years, and we will find out what's within shortly. Right, back at the campus. This is Walter and Catherine, and they're talking about quantum physics, like Schrodinger's cat, and stuff like that. And they're talking about stuff like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle and stuff like that's to do with quantum physics. That you can never predict things in quantum physics. You can just they're just probabilities. That's all they're at in quantum physics. You can't say such a particle will be there at such and such a time, because that's not how it works in the quantum realm. You just got to say it might be there, and it might be, it might not. So anyway, Walter says he can't get his head around it, but she can, because she's clever and she's into science, but she's not into people. But she gets into romance. But she gets into romance in a bit with Brian. Right, this is where they find out that Birack has ordered them to cancel their weekend plans because they're going on a field trip, and Walter's not happy about that because he had serious plans for the weekend. So, but it's going to count towards their doctorates, their grades. Some of these look quite old to be in university, don't they? They must be they must be mature students. Right. So Brian finally meets Catherine. Now they know who they are because they're in the same class. So he finally introduces himself, and they go out for a coffee, and they have a little talk, and he's doing his card trick, and then he just says a stupid thing. He says, "How come?" He turns into a jock, basically. He's supposed to be a scientist, but he says, how come somebody that looks like you never settles down in our part of the campus or whatever, I don't know. And she gets all uffy, as you would, because he's been a knob. Here he is practicing his card trick. There he is. He's trying to make this, I don't know if he's trying to make this card disappear, or whatever. I don't know what he's doing, but he keeps moving it about with his fingers. And not being able to do it, and then later on, when all the supernatural stuff starts happening, it does vanish. Just to let you know. Anyway, he puts his foot in it with her, and she gets a bit upset. But then they make up, and then they end up in bed, obviously. So this is. Birack's telling them at the next class, telling them that what they're going to do. They're going to this church, and the competent scientists, so they're there to do some studies and stuff like that. But he's not telling them exactly what's going on, and there's going to be other departments joining them. So there we go. So there he arrives at the church, and he looks across and he sees this. She's called the Bag Lady. And she's got ants crawling all over her. She's looking up at the at the sun, and it's got the moon above it, the crescent moon, looking like devil horns. So we see in this film they have a lot of street people, hobos. We call them tramps in the UK, but in America they call them hobos, don't they? Street people that live on the street, homeless people. There's a lot of them, and according to John Carpenter, they're classed as soulless, which isn't very charitable, is it? The people after all, but they're easily swayed, they're easily possessed by the evil forces around this church and around the cylinder, because it can affect. There's corrosion on the lid, and I think it's starting to affect. It's starting to influence outside. It's like as was once said in a book, one of my favourite books, The Devils of D-Day, where a demon was trapped inside a World War II tank. It was starting to rust. But it was still trapped inside because of incantations and, crucifix and stuff. So instead of being able to do, horrible things to people, it was like a dog on a leash. So that's what this is like. This what's happening in the church. There's like an evil force that's like a dog on a leash, and it can influence these street people, which it does. And one of them's Alice Cooper, as we will see. Anyway, this is the priest, and he's Donald Pleasance. He's acting his heart out in it, and he's telling Birak that he wants him to prove scientifically what's going on, and then Birak says the world's not ready for this bullshit, but that's his job. Meanwhile, back on the campus, Creepy Brian and Redhead Catherine. You don't see many redheads these days, do you? They're an endangered species in Hollywood. They're going on another date, and they end up in bed. And I think he wakes up next to her. There we go. He wakes up next to her. So they've done the deed. They are now a couple, I suppose. He looks out. Is he going to see the sun with the devil horn? See if I can get an image of it. I bet I can't. I bet I've come at the wrong time, haven't I? Go back a little bit. Go on, look at it. There we go. See, there's the sun and the moon above it. Looks like a devil horns. I don't think that'd happen in actual nature. I don't think that'd happen, because it'd be, if the moon were in that position with the sun, it'd be a much narrower crescent, wouldn't it? It'd be basically a new moon, wouldn't it? More or less. Anyway. Alright, so he takes Catherine a coffee, blah, blah, blah. Not really germane to the story, but it's showing that they've become close, isn't it? Right. So they're having a little chat. They're back again now. See, you spent all that time trying to, get an image of it, and then just accidentally I do it. So there's the sun again with the moon above it. Right, they're all arriving now at the church at St Goddard's. This is Kelly, I believe. Is it Kelly? Played by Susan Blanchard, and she has a major role in this film, and has some gooey makeup effect later on. And there's a couple here that you can't see. Oh, you can just see there. That's I tell you, I can't remember the names. There's where is she? She's Susan and Lisa. Where are we? I've lost my thing now. There we go. That's Susan. And just behind me, boxes is Lisa. But we get introduced to them all later. They're all unpacking the gear, taking it into the church. Peter Jason, is it Peter Jason? I think it's Peter Jason, isn't it? Yeah, Peter Jason, who's been in a few, 3 or 4 at least, John Carpenter films. He arrives. He's Dr. Leahy, or Leahy, I can't remember. So he finds Professor Birak, and there we go. And the professor tells him, just find a spot for your equipment. They're using this main area as the central lab, and this is Lee, his assistant. And apparently, they're all spending the weekend there, but he can't. He's got to leave and go and do something for Lee. He's got to, he's got to stand in for Lee here or something. Maybe take a class for him. I don't know. Oh, he's got to do something for Lee here. And he says it gives him extra credit, so he's getting out. But it all goes awry, as we will see. And here he's asking what they're going to be doing. Are they going to be testing, for compounds or, base whatevers? And he says, I don't know. When I know, you'll know. So there you go. So nobody knows what's happening, basically. They're setting up all their equipment. They don't know what they're doing. But they're getting on with it. They're looking out the window. They can see the street people are starting to gather outside. Have a look. Let's have a look. There we are. You can see they're starting to gather outside, just standing there staring. And we come to Lisa. Oh, this is called later Mona Lisa. She's taking, I think she's a theology student or something, and it's her job to translate the book, the big book there. And she said, well, she can do the Latin and that, translate that, but she'll have trouble with the numbers because she's not a mathematician or anything like that, but she can translate. And she starts typing. She's reading it and she's translating it as she's typing. As we will see in a minute. It's all state-of-the-art computer stuff. Oh, for God's sake, get on with it, woman. Oh, there's Alice Cooper, look. There we go. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you this thing which shall be unleashed. Ooh, look, spooky. And there's Alice Cooper. He's the street schizo in the credits. Donald arrives. He sees the street people, and he sort of like walks into the bag lady. I don't know, how does he not see her? Is he going to do it here now? He sees them. And then he just starts walking. He doesn't pay any attention and just walks into this bag, even though she's right in front of him. Come on, do it, man. See, he's going to see the sun and the moon. There we go, it's that again. I'll get on with it. There we go, so he just walked into it, and she talks to him, and the voice is all kind of distorted, and she says, it's good to see the church open again, and her voice is all distorted, and he looks down, she like nuzzles against him, and he looks down, she's got this pot, and there's all maggots in the pot, as we will see. There we go. So he beats a hasty retreat. So anyways, now, cracky, they're going to show the students what's down in the cellar, or the basement. What's the difference between a cellar and a basement? I don't know. There they are. So they're there. You can't see it. The cylinder's there behind me red boxes, swirling away. And they say, well, what is it? And he says, well, that's what you're here to find out. Meanwhile, the translation continues. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. It says that earth in a minute. Hang on. There, earth. There we go. Catherine's typing in the numbers. She's typing in numbers, like loads of amazing equations from that book that they weren't supposed to have been invented yet. But she looks over and she sees all these worms and things on the window. What she did do, I've gone too far. There's all worms stuck to the window. And we see them again later, and they're like falling up the window, just to show that things aren't quite right with the universe. This chap, by the way, his character is called Etchison, played by Tom Bray. He's setting up there. And this chap, Jesse Lawrence. Have I said that before? Jesse Lawrence. Yeah, Jesse Lawrence Ferguson, that's it. He's called Calder. and another character. Where are we? Frank Wyndham. They come in. Frank Wyndham comes in here. There he is. They've been downstairs. Obviously, he's not been downstairs yet. He's busy doing all this stuff. But obviously, Calder's upset by what he's seen, and he thinks it's a load. I forgot his name already. Wyndham, named for John Wyndham, I should imagine. He thinks it's a load of nonsense. He thinks somebody's pulling their chain. So there we go. Oh, there we go. Where we see it in all its glory. Looks swirling away. Cool effect, I must admit. There we go. This is Kelly and Walter and Brian. Brian's setting up some more equipment. And I think this is where Kelly bumps her arm. And she might have done it already, I don't know. Let's see. She accidentally bumps her arm, and it's a significant point in the film. Some people have said it doesn't really make sense, She doesn't bump her arm on the cylinder or anything like that. But remember, it can affect, outside of itself. So they're all wondering what it is. Oh, back to the worms. As you can see, the worms are falling up the window. If it shows us, not going to show it. Oh yeah, we go falling up the window, just to show that things are amiss. This chap is Mullins, played by Dirk Blocker. That's a name and a half, isn't it? He don't look like a scientist, does he? But he is. So she's showing him that, and obviously there's no explanation for it. This is I forgot her name already. Susan. She's showing. They've done some like X-rays of the locking mechanism, and they said it can only be undone from the inside. I think, well, if they're trapping something inside, why would it be only allowed to be out? But anyway, and the corrosion is on the lid is a few million years. I can't remember. It's 3 million years or something. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, the locking mechanism can only be unlocked from the inside, which makes no sense to me. But anyway, right. Me and the street people are still gathering outside. There's Alice. Look, Vince Fernier he seems to be in charge for some reason. Of course, it's Alice Cooper. Walter's not happy. He's had some pizza. He's fed up. He could be out having fun. It's the weekend, but it's not happening. Right. I think they're gathering outside. I think Lee, his assistant's heading out now. We're going to see that in a moment. In a minute. Oh, there we see where she's bumped her arm. She's got a bruise, and that bruise ends up turning into a symbol, which apparently is the symbol for Kronos or Saturn. A god, an ancient god. So, but they call it it's the symbol of, I don't know, the philosopher's stone or philosopher's staff or something like that. I don't know. It just shows she's been chosen anyway. So he's going now. He's I forgot his name again. Etchinson, right? Etchinson. He's heading out. So he's just talking to him. Looks like he's shouting at him, but he's not. So he heads out and he finds like a pigeon that's been crucified. Here we go. We'll show it here in a moment. There we go. Finds this pigeon that's been crucified. It's supposed to be a shocking thing to find. Who would do such a thing? So he goes and has a look and thinks, that's gruesome. But then all the street people, they block his route, so he can't go. So he turns around, starts to go the other way, and Alice Cooper's there with a bike frame and runs him through with the bike frame, which is actually part of Alice Cooper's stage act. That happens. It does that on stage. By the way, if you haven't seen Alice Cooper's live shows, they are amazing, and they're still amazing. I don't know how old he is. He's 70-odd years old. Still doing live shows, still having his head chopped off and stuff like that. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He is. Go on YouTube, you'll find one or two. So that happens. So he's been run through. There's blood spraying and stuff. I didn't notice that before. So anyway, just shine a light on him so we can see the blood run out of his mouth and dead. So that's the first victim of the Prince of Darkness. If you don't count Kelly with her bruise. You could say she's the first victim, but not yet. Brian says something weird is happening with the fluid in the. They're taking some samples. The fluid in the cylinder. It's not breaking down. It's forming. If it's an inert, non-organic material, it should be breaking down into entropy, basically. But it's not. It's reforming. It's becoming something. So that's weird. So they're getting a bit. He's getting a bit scared now. Is Brian, obviously. Anyway, so Susan, she comes to have a look. She hasn't had a chance to have a proper look at it. So she's coming down. She's super pretty, isn't she? She's super pretty. So she comes down there. She meets Dirk Blocker. And he says hello and then goodbye. He buggers off. So he heads out. And then she hears... I bet I've gone too far. Look. Or maybe it doesn't happen just yet. She hears like a plinking noise, and she looks up. I think it's in a bit. I think we cut to somewhere else first. Oh, there we go. She hears this plinking noise. She looks up, and there's fluid dripping up. Like the worms were falling up the window. Fluid dripping up to the ceiling. There we go. I think the camera will pan up, and we'll see that the fluid in the ceiling. I've gone too far again. Hey, it's not easy, No, we're still doing that. It must happen in a minute. So we cut to Lisa. She's explaining to the others what's going on, and from a translation, she finds out that the cylinder contains the son of Satan, who's trapped in there. I forgot exactly what she says. But she talks about Jesus, who were an alien but a human-like race, and he comes to warn them. But nobody believes him, and they kill him, and all that. But anyway, back to Susan. She looks and sees the stuff on the ceiling. By the way, are we still going? I think we are, aren't we? I better keep checking. Yeah, we're still going. Because sometimes, if I stop in and starting with the video and stuff, sometimes, it might trigger a copyright thing and they might just stop the stream. That's happened before. But no, we're okay. Right, so she sees that. She gets a bit scared and she looks up and, that's it. Something moves by itself. See if I can get that. There we go. She's looking up at it and then this moves by itself. There, go spontaneously. And... So that scares her, and then she sees this pool of green goo up on the ceiling, and she's looking there with the mouth open, obviously, because it goes in a minute. Go on, get on with it. Gets her right in a gob. So she's like that. So basically, this is how it possesses people. It takes a part of itself and inserts it into other people, possesses their bodies. Kills them and reanimates them as I suppose like limbs of itself, facets. So she's still explaining about what's on the priest is explaining that they've kept it secret for 2,000 years. They can't keep it secret any longer. Blah blah blah. So the world has to know what's going on. I think he talks to them about they start having dreams. They all start having the same dream, which starts at the front of the church, and it's like a TV broadcast. And it unfolds as time goes on, and we end up seeing a dark figure coming out of the church, and voices saying, "No, this is transmitted from the year 199," and I think it's supposed to be 1999. I think that were Brian explaining something. I think when the table thing moved. It registered. Here we go. Give them a show us. There we go. It registered on these instruments, and he said it was like a directed beam of energy that came from the cylinder. That's when it moved the table, so they can detect or register its psychokinesis. So it's something that's aware. It can affect its surroundings. Right, Susan rises up. She's now, spawn of Satan, or Satan's son. That's why they're showing that again. Anyway, they start dropping like flies for so long. This is Walter, Dennis Dugan. He's still not happy, he don't want to be there. He sees Lisa in a minute, and he said, you could pass for Asian, which upsets her. Don't know why. I don't know if she's supposed to be Asian or not. The actress is called Ann Yen, which is kind of an Asian name, but I don't know if she's supposed to be Native American or something. I don't know. Anyway, so they're all getting worried. This is Brian and Catherine talking about what's going on, and I think some of the people are wanting to leave now because it's getting a bit too much for them. So they're going to have a meeting. So Dirk Blocker, what's his character called? I can't remember. I just remember his real name because it is Mullins. That's it. Mullins is go looking for Susan to tell her about the meeting. But she's not there. He knew she were here because he'd seen her earlier on, remember? But she's not there now. So he goes, has a route about there. He's looking at something here now. I don't know what he's looking at. But she sneaks up behind him. There she is behind him, look. I think she ain't got her glasses on anymore, because if you're possessed by the devil, you don't need your glasses anymore. There we go. I don't know what he's looking at there. It looks like a blank screen to me, but oh no, some little lights flickering. That obviously has some significance to him. Anyway, she gets him and breaks his neck. Are you ready? There we go. There we go. So that's the end of him. And she puts some of the stuff into him, so he becomes another slave. I think here they're talking about that dream now. I think he's just woke up from the dream. I better don't land on it. I bet I don't. No, maybe not. Must be later. Right, so they're having a meeting outside. They couldn't wait. Saying they want to leave, and but they, they don't for some reason. I don't know why. But he says it's a load of rubbish. We should go. Anyway, they go back inside, and he stays there. He says, "I'm not going back in there." So there we go. Susan comes out, just stares at him, and then the bag lady comes at him with a knife or like a pair of scissors. In a moment. There you go. That's a cool bit that I've totally missed. Hang on, let me go. Oh, he looks down, sees all these creepy crawlers around him. Remember, the world is changing, the universe is changing. It's getting all icky, basically. Got bugs on him. I think he's a special effects artist, by the way. I think he did the the cylinder, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Come on, show us the bag lady with the scissors. I've got to keep pausing it. Here she comes. Here she's in front of this wall. There we go. That's to get that. So the one running alongside her, as she ran past the wall, she actually just held it and moved it slightly, and a truck with the wall painted on the side of it drove by. That's how they got that shot. Very interesting. Anyway, she comes running out and she stabs him to death. So somehow he becomes possessed now. I don't know how. Maybe Susan came down and put some of the goo into him. It's not made entirely clear. Right, so that's the end of him. Well, it's not the end of him because we'll see him again in a minute. She looks round, she saw somebody there. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Susan, maybe, I don't know. They're all getting, a bit wary of what's going on. There we go. There's Wyndham. That's his name, isn't it? See, she's not only stabbed him to death, she's chopped his hand off. Look, his hand's there, separate from his body, covered in bugs. So he's dead. Oh, here we go. Here's the dream. There we go. So this is how the dream unfolds. You see this figure inside. It was actually done. It was actually filmed on film, but then played back on a TV, and then they filmed the TV. So that's how they get this effect. Bit of trivia for you there. Anyway, they see this figure, and I think we see this figure actually in real life during the film. I think one of the street people is this character, I think. But I won't land on that part. If you know what I'm like. So that's the dream, and it unfolds as the film goes on. It was Dennis that were having the dream then. So this is Lisa. Oh, she goes in, and I think Susan's in there with her now. Shortly. Oh no, she goes to have a lie down. That's it. She goes to have a lie down. There's Lisa, and then I think Susan's behind this door. This is lying down. I think Susan's going to appear any second now. Oh, I forgot. Anyway, somebody else is having the dream now. Look, see, they're all at it. They're all at it. I've gone too far to see Lisa get gone. Yeah, I am. So it might be Lisa having that dream. Here we go. Susan comes on and crawls over Lisa. And Lisa says, "Oh, crikey, what are you doing? This is a bit inappropriate." But then she just... go on, do it. But of course, Lisa opens her mouth a bit. Because they can't keep the mouth shut, can they? Because it's, it's America. There we go. I bet it's like mouthwash or something, isn't it? Anyway, so she's part of the evil gang now. So they're all noticing, stuff's up. People are disappearing. I think all the fluid ends up going. Well, I don't know where it goes, to be honest. She's still typing in these equations, and she don't understand them. They're too complicated for her. But Kelly's super tired, and that bruise is getting worse. So she's going to go for a lie down. When she goes for a lie down, she don't get up again for ages. There we go. She sees the bruise. It's getting to become a symbol now. Not just a bruise. She has been chosen. She will be the vessel for the son of Satan. There we go. So in she goes. That's Calder is saying, having a meeting or whatever, and she said, "Oh, just give me a few minutes. I just need to get my head down." So they're all headed into this meeting. He sees he's talking to. Remember, Lisa's being got now. This is very good. Mona Lisa, but she's ignoring him. I don't know if he gets got here now. He might do. I can't remember. But she's typing in something here. See if I can land on it. I think it's like the I live thing, I think. Come on, show us it up close. Yeah, I live. There we go. I live. And then she types something else in a minute when he looks back at her. And this makes me laugh. It's supposed to be creepy and scary, but you will not be saved by the Holy Ghost, and you will not be saved by the god plutonium. And it says, in fact, I mean, as you can do it, you can hear like going, and then when it does the all capitals here, you will not be saved. It does that right loud, and for some reason it makes me laugh. You will not be saved. Oh, then Susan closes the door, and this is when Calder gets got. Lisa pops up here, and they basically get him. She's getting paler now. Over the longer they are possessed or dead, I suppose you could say, they start getting paler because there's no blood flowing. It's the goo that's keeping them animated, like zombies, aren't they? There we go. So there's Lisa. So she clotheslines him. Right, so these are all. They just moan. They don't do a lot of scientific research, so they just sit about with papers moaning at each other. That's all they do. That's all they do in this film. So there they go. So they're putting the goo into Calder. So he's one of the gang now. So I think they decide that they've had enough. Some of them are going to leave. Then I think they get interrupted by Wyndham outside. I do believe they hear something like, hello, this weird distorted voice. In a bit. Oh, this is when he does his card trick. Yeah, I've missed it now. I missed the bugger now, haven't I? Because they're all talking about, quantum physics and stuff like that, and how, it's all connected. Let's see, he's done it now. He's done his card trick. Take on too far, look. So he's done do his card trick. Look, I can't see for my fat head. Hang on, let me take myself off. And he's doing his card trick, and then... see, I pressed the wrong button there. There we go. And he does it, and then his card just vanishes. Oh, it's gone, look. Yeah. See? So that shows that the world has gone weird. But it's there in front of him, actually. And you can see a card there, a folded card. Or is that a different one? I don't know. But it's vanished anyways, this card. Oh, no, it's his deck of cards, isn't it? I think this is where they hear Wyndham. There we go, out the window. There he is, looking very pale. He's actually, he's just a husk full of bugs and stuff like that. And he's saying hello, and he says, they've got a message for him, and then he just collapses into a pile of gruesomeness. If I can find that bit. There we go. Just there's nothing left of him. And then Calder comes up the stairs, singing a sad song. Remember, he's got a chair with him. I don't know why he's dragging a chair, but he just grabs a stair rod and stabs it into his throat. As you do. Because what happens when you're possessed by the son of Satan in this film, I think you're like, you become like a facet of Satan or the son of Satan, but obviously you're not happy about it, But there seems to be like just despairing all the time. It's the feeling hopelessness. I think that's what the point of it is, because that's what demons are, aren't they? They feed on hopelessness. So anyway, so they think he's killed himself, but technically he's already dead because he's being got. See the symbol on Kelly's arms getting more pronounced, and then we see that I think Susan and is it Susan and Lisa bring the cylinder. I don't know how they get it upstairs, but they do. They get the cylinder into that room. I think don't know where they're going. I think they're trying to get out. Yeah, they're trying to get out because they run to the door, but it's being barred from the outside. The homeless people have barricaded them in, so they can't get out. Not through the doors, anyway. There we go. There we go. Barricaded from the outside. Where's all this stuff come from? I don't know. It's Los Angeles. There's lots of junk on the streets, obviously. So they're going to try and round everybody up. This is Walter, played by Dennis Dugan. He finds Kelly. Here we go. Right, and he sees there's all that green goo. I've missed the bit, haven't I, where Lisa and Susan bring the cylinder into Kelly. Where is it, that bit now? See, I've missed it, look. Anyway, never mind. So anyway, he goes in and he sees that there's all the goo is on the ceiling in this room now. It's come out of the cylinder, it's on the ceiling, and it's going into Kelly, as we will see when it's ready. When it's ready. So he's looking up. There we go, and it's going down. It's obviously, it's a reverse shot, isn't it? But as we'll see, for crying out loud, it's going. There we go. It's going into Kelly. So all of the goo. So remember, just little bits is enough to take over a regular person. They're a bit like the founders in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the changelings, and just a small part of them, can no, I'm doing the wrong thing. The Thing, that's what it's like. It's like The Thing, isn't it? John Carpenter's The Thing, but a small part of the alien, is can do its own thing, and that's what it's like on this. A small part of the son of Satan can control, a person, but the rest of him is going into Kelly. Right, so she's going to become the vessel for the son of Satan. And he turns round and he sees Lisa and Susan standing there, and then he falls over the other camp bed or cot, whatever you want to call it. That's what we just saw then. Yeah, falls over that, look. And he scrambles into a store cupboard and stashes himself in there, hiding away. But they don't try and get him just yet. So this is Lee. Who's he seen in here now? Oh, he's seen what's going on with Kelly. But then Lisa gets him. So he's going to become possessed. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Awake. Let me have a drink of water. See if it'll stop me sneezing. Hey. Yeah, so this is where he gets in the store cupboard there, locks himself in. So he's safe in there for the time being. Lisa comes out, and I think she tries to get somebody. Mullins arrives with his neck all like that. Because remember, it got broken by Susan. So, they barricade themselves in another room. I think there's 11 deaths in this film altogether. I do believe the death count is 11. I don't know what we're up to now. I think there's a couple more, maybe. Or maybe just one more. Not sure. Oh yeah, the priest has locked himself in this room with a big mirror, as you can maybe just see there. There's a big mirror on the wall there, which comes important, very important in a bit. Anyway, hides behind like a big cupboard. Dennis keeps looking out through this little window in the store room, see what's going on, and we see Kelly changing. Her skin becomes all, manky and looks a bit like as though her skin's all rotting away. Looks like it anyway. They're standing guard, barricading the door. They don't know what to do. I think Brian tries to jump, go out the window to get help, but the street people have other ideas. But that's in a bit. Walter's watching from his vantage point, but they're not trying to get him. I think basically they're just guarding Kelly until her transformation is complete. That's what they're doing, making sure nobody interferes with that. There we go. So they just stand there, and he has a look at. He's going to show us. There we go. She's Kelly. See that symbol on her arms, even more pronounced, and she's a big. It looks like she's pregnant, basically. So she's because of all the fluid that's gone into her. So there, that's that. He's hiding behind this, I think it's a wardrobe or something. Got his Bible with him, and he's saying little prayers to himself. Lee, he gets up. He comes to possessed, and he's all sad and crying all the time. As I said, it's despair, I suppose, and hopelessness. But just for the fellas, just for the men. The women seem fine. They seem fine to be evil. The men are unhappy about it. Well, Calder and Lee here, anyway. I think it's where Brian decides to go out the window and try and get help. See, morning comes. That's it, and he thinks, well, it might be safe. It might be safe in daytime, but oh no, there won't. See, the world carries on outside, but the fate of the world hangs in the balance in this little church. Walter, still stuck in his storeroom. And she talks to him, and he apologises to Lisa for saying, that she could pass for Asian. He says, "You don't look Asian at all," even though she does. Anyway, they can hear him talking, so that they call through, so that they're in an adjacent room, aren't they? So they decide they're going to bash the wall in to get him out. So that's what they do. They start bashing the wall in. He doesn't do a great deal from his side until he has to. But we'll see about that shortly. There we go. So they start smashing this wall in. Calder comes into this room now. There we go. He comes in. He stands in front of the mirror and he's just like basically crying or whatever into the mirror. And I'm not sure what to make of this. Is it the case? Demons are supposed to be fixated with their own reflections, aren't they? I think something in the lore about that when they see their own reflection, they become transfixed by it. Is it something to do with that, or is it the part of the son of Satan that sees a mirror? Because earlier on in the film, we were told that Satan is the mirror image of God, so it's like matter and antimatter, in scientific terms. So they use that term, the mirror image. So they're taking it literally now. They're actually using mirrors for that to give it an engine, give an engine to that idea of that, the mirror universe, not the Star Trek one, the antimatter universe, the evil universe. Oh, back to Star Trek again. But as I was saying, is this the part of the son of Satan that's inside Calder it knows that it can't affect that mirror. To as we see, mirrors become portals to the antimatter universe, and the son of Satan can open those portals, but with it only being a part of him inside, or part of it inside Calder, it can't do it. You know, so he's looking at it and thinking, why can't I do this? Probably. Anyway, this is where Brian makes a run for it and doesn't get very far. There, he's going to go now, and the street people start coming for him, and they say, "No, quick, get back in!" So, oh, look, they're going to get him. Oh, they're going to get me. But he scrambles back in, and he's all right. Come on. Yeah, he scrambles back in, he's all right. They're still stood there guarding Kelly. There she is. And we see her skin starting to go all manky. But her belly's going down, look. It's like the fluid has all been absorbed into Kelly's body now. So that's why her skin's going all putrefied, I suppose you could say. And he described it as Walter, and he says, I think her bone structure's changing as well. So I'm not sure if is it Susan Blanchard? I forgot the name of the actress. I'm not sure if it's Susan Blanchard that plays the transformed Kelly, you know, the son of Satan. I'm not sure if she actually plays that, you know, that with all the horrible makeup on. But she might. I don't know. It might say in the commentary, but I haven't listened to the commentary for this film for years. So I should have done, shouldn't I, in preparation for this, but I didn't. So sue me. No, don't. I haven't got any money. There we go. There we can see that she's going all manky fine. But at least the bruise is going down now, isn't it? It's not as pronounced. It's a bit late now, though, isn't it? Right, somebody else is having the dream. I think this is Catherine having the dream this time. So it goes a little bit further. It actually says this: we are transmitting this from the year 199, and then she wakes up. There we go. The other chap, I think this other fella is continuing doing the wall. I think he's called Lomax. This fella, and it shows him. Him. I think he's called Lomax. So he's carrying on there. It's not a very big hole, is it? Good job, Dennis is a little chap. Sorry, Walter. So they're taking the bricks out. You know, they're getting there. They're getting there. So, you know, there you go. They have a little kiss because, you know, they think it's hopeless. They don't know what to do. Dennis is still, not Dennis, I keep calling him Dennis. I know that's his real name, but Walter is still watching Kelly. And this, you know, she's getting even more disfigured now. And there's a bit later on which gives me the willies, it does, but we'll get to that. You know, some ants and stuff. You know, we see a lot of insects in this. You know, insects are kind of a shorthand for, you know, ickiness, aren't they? Right. So anyway, so we're carrying on. So I think the sun's going down again now. So it's going to be night time soon again. So they're stuck in there. They're stuck in there all weekend, basically, aren't they? So they're still trying to get Walter out of this the room next door. The priest is reading his Bible. He's not doing it very quietly. He's not shouting it, but you know, I wouldn't be reading it out loud like he is, because remember, Calder's in there with him, looking in the mirror. There he is, look, and then I think he hears him. But then he gets distracted. And oh, here we go. This is the bit that scares the willies out of me. Walter's shining his torch, you know, his flashlight, through the little window, and he shines it onto Kelly. And you know, she looks at him, so she's awake. She's awake now and aware. It's not Kelly anymore; it's the son of Satan. And she like smiles at him, and it gives me the creeps. Looks dead scary. For some reason, that scares me more than any monster that you can have in a film. Just that gives me the oh, look, she's at it again. Look, I'm proper scared. That's made my little heart flutter. Oh dear. There's something about a disfigured face that I just find terrifying. It does. I think it must be a natural human thing. You know, you can have a monster that looks like nothing in real life, but a disfigured human face is absolutely petrifying. To me, anyway. Anyway, so Dennis Walter's freaking out in the other room because he's seen that because she's made the other cot. She's made that move with the power of her mind. So Walter's freaking out. He's going, help me, help me, help me. So they're gonna go try and help him. So she sits up now. So she's now the son of Satan. I don't know if he's got a name. I thought Beelzebub was the son of Satan, or is it? I don't know. She sits up and she carries on, moving stuff with her mind, getting used to her powers. Anyway, they open this door, and Mullins comes in a minute. Oh, wow, she's broken that door, by the way. See if I'm too far. Look, there we go. She looks over, and she uses the power of her mind. There's the empty cylinder there. Not very big, is it? You get the impression that it's really big, but it's not. But apparently it weighed £1,500. And she looks over and she breaks the door with her mind in quite a cool effect, I must admit. I think it is anyway. It's looking all gruesome. Come on, get on with it, woman. There we go. And the door goes, and he freaks out again, does Walter. I think he starts smashing the wall in from his side now because Kelly sends these two to go and get him. So Walter's like freaking out and smashing the wall from his side. Anyway, they're gonna try and go and help him. There he is. He's smashing the wall. Here we go. Mullins comes in. Remember, he's possessed with his broken neck. There we go. Birak sprays. He shakes up a can of pop and sprays it in his face, and so they bash him with bits of 2x4. But not before. There we go. He gets Lomax. So there we go. So Lomax is possessed now, or he will be when he comes round. Hang on, I've gone too far. Look. See, I've gone too far. Look. There, gives him a clout, and then he turns around and he gives him a clout, but then he sprays him. I've got to keep stopping it, else I'll get a copyright strike. So he falls down, but then Birak, stabs him in the eye with a chopstick. Here we go. So he puts his hand up. So that's the end of him for now, anyway. So he goes down. Meanwhile, Kelly, son of Satan, sees a mirror, like a makeup compact. She sees that on the floor. Sees the mirror. And she sees... I've gone too far. And it's amazing to her. So this is, a portal to get Satan. Satan's waiting. Her father is waiting on the other side of any mirror, apparently. But she picks it up. And as we'll see in a minute, Brian's still going to go and try and help Walter, even though he's nearly through the wall, but maybe they're just trying to need a distraction. I think Lee comes here now and tries to get him. But anyway, Walter's is going to get through this little hole now. They're getting Walter out now. Look, help me! They grab hold of him. There we go. And they get Lisa and they brain her to death with bricks, look. So, there we go. Poor Lisa. Son of Satan picks up the compact and activates the mirror. See, they're still braining Lisa, look. And then they chuck her out the window. That does the trick. So she sticks her finger there because she activates the mirror portal and sticks her fingers in. But obviously, it's not big enough to bring Satan through, is it? Because he's a bit bigger than a compact mirror, isn't he? There we go. Apparently, they did that with mercury. They found some mercury in some in like a crane or something, in the hydraulics or the ball bearings or whatever in a crane, and they took the mercury out of that for this effect, and then put it back afterwards and didn't tell anybody apparently. But she's angry about that because obviously that mirror's not big enough, so she casts aside that compact. But she finds a big mirror soon. So he sees that. There we go. So she's going to go into the other room now. There we go. Brian's hiding. He's taken out Lee, by the way. He's brained him with his bit of wood. There's Calder. There, she sees the mirror. She activates the mirror. There we go. And luckily for the priest here, there's a big axe on the floor. And he picks up the axe. And we will see. Oh, they've thrown Lisa through the window there. There we go. Just happens to be an axe off floor there. There we go. A nice shiny new axe next to a sledgehammer and a broom. Which is he going to use out of these? It's a pity the sledgehammer didn't get used, isn't it? There she starts putting a hand in the mirror. I don't think that'd be mercury. That's just water, isn't it? I think. I don't think there'd be enough mercury in that crane to do this. I think this is just water. I think just with some light shining onto it to give it that effect. There we go. And Brian stops Calder because the priest comes out now. And there we go. Chops her arm off. But she just grows another one. Brian's stopping Calder. Catherine arrives. There we go. Another arm just grows instantly. So then he chops her head off. I better not show this bit, had I? Oh, there we go. Brian and Calder are having a bit of a fight there in the corridor, throwing each other about. The priest chopped her head off. He's just picked her head up off the floor and stuck it back on. So you can't chop her up because she just puts herself back together again. She's that powerful, is the son of Satan. So she traps. She uses her psychic powers and traps him behind this. It's not a wardrobe, is it? I don't know what it is. Like a furnace or something. I don't know what it is. Fireman, it says. I think it might be a furnace. A big metal thing in it. So she traps him behind that. She don't crush him to death. She just traps him. So she goes back to trying to get Satan through the mirror. There we go. She's saying, "Come to me," or words to that effect. And then we see this. This is Satan's hand. Then we see it coming out, and it looks actually reminds me of. I wonder if it's going to be like Tim Curry coming through, in Legend. Looks like that a little bit. There we go. I think this is. I think that is just. That reflective material. What they use for like cinema screens and stuff like that. It's really reflective. If you shine a light on it, it reflects back. Same what they used with the original lightsabers in Star Wars back in 1977. They use that reflective material and shone a light on it. I think that's what they've done there, and it's just they've cut a slit in there, so she can put her arm in and pull out this devil's arm. As we will see in a moment. See, Brian's, he's still got his hands full with Calder, so he can't go and interfere. So it's up to Catherine. I don't know who that is in the background. I think it might be Lee. Yeah, I think Lee has got up. So she's wondering what to do. Does she save Brian or does she stop the son of Satan? There we go. So it's going to be bringing Satan's arm out. There we go, bringing it out now. Look, there's Satan's arm with his big black claws and his red skin. As I said, Very Tim Curry from Legend-ish. So she decides she's got to save the world. There we go. So she does that. She goes running in. Both dive in the mirror. Donald Pleasance thinks, my chance has come. And he throws the axe, smashes the mirror. 7 years bad luck. But he's saved the universe, I suppose. He's saved us from the devil. And the devil's son, they're trapped on the other side of the mirror. I mean, could they just find another mirror in the antimatter universe and then come through that way? I don't know. You haven't to think about it. So anyway, so all the people that they possessed, they're all dead now, properly dead. There's little bits of steam coming out of the mouth. Because with the son of Satan being gone from this universe, whatever were left of him or it, in our universe just turns to smoke. So that's what happens there. All the street people disperse. We don't see Alice Cooper again. Walter jumps out the window, goes for help, and the next day, there we go. All the police and fire have arrived. I don't know how they're going to explain what happened. There's 11 people dead. They're just going to say we were besieged by, hobos and that murdered these people. That's probably what they'll say, won't they? They won't say the son of Satan took over. And remember, Kelly's missing. She's gone into the mirror unit. She's not there. They're going to say, where's she then? They'll probably say the hobos took her. Anyway, the priest takes all the credit for it. He says, I saved the universe or whatever. I did it. I stopped him. So, fair enough, you take the credit, mate. This is Brian looking at the shattered pieces of mirror, thinking about the love of his life is gone. She saved the universe. And that's what Birak tells him. She sacrificed herself for us all. A bit like Jesus. But then comes another dream. There we go. Another dream comes. And we see this time it's not a shadowy figure. It's Catherine. She comes out with her arms wide, and he wakes up, and it was a dream, and he wakes up and he turns over, and she's there. But then he wakes up again, look, and it's still a dream. It was a double dream. But he gets up now, and then he goes, right, I'm glad I've paused it there. He goes up, he's got a big mirror in his apartment. He goes up to it. He's got this picture in the background on his wall, and I think it's like a nebula. It's a space picture, isn't it? It's a nebula. Maybe like the Rosette Nebula or something like that. But to me, that looks like a really scary face. It always has. You can see one of the eyes there, the other eye there, the distorted nose and stuff there. And it does look like a demonic face, a bit of an ear there. That's what it looks like to me. But anyway, they don't say anything about that in any of the commentaries I've seen, but it's plain as day to me. There's a scary face behind him. But anyway, that's by the by, because he goes to the mirror and he goes to touch it. But remember, he's not the son of Satan. He can't make a mirror into a portal. He's not Alice, is he? Not Alice through the looking glass. So anyway, so he's going to touch the mirror when he's ready. When he's ready, with his moustache. Maybe his moustache will give him the power to travel between universes. There we go. He's going to touch his moustache. Hey, moustache, give me the power to move to the antimatter universe. Maybe I have an antimatter moustache. He's got a something moustache. I wish mine were that sumptuous and lush. Tinted, bloody horrible look. I need a shave. Anyway, so he goes to touch the mirror, and just before he touches the mirror, the film ends. There we go. And that's it. That's the end of the film. And then we just get the credits. There we go. So, cool film. Really good film. I really enjoy that. I press wrong button again, haven't I? There we go. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, really good film. Very enjoyable and, nice and gory in places when it needs to be. And it's proper scary in places when it needs to be. I think it is. I think it's one of John Carpenter's scariest films, because there's just a pervading sense of dread, because it's the end of the world. Because this is the part 2 of his apocalypse trilogy, into what he calls his apocalypse trilogy. Number 1 was The Thing. Second part was this, Prince of Darkness, and the third part was, he says, In the Mouth of Madness. I don't know why that's part of his apocalypse trilogy. I don't know, but he says it is. That's another good film, but it's not one I'll be including because I don't think it's as good as the others. Even though it's a really good, like Lovecraft adaptation, I suppose you could say. But I'm getting off topic. Prince of Darkness. It's got filled with a sense of dread because, it's apocalyptic. The devil is coming through the mirror. Things are changing in the universe. The son of Satan is affecting things. The container he's in is starting to erode or corrode, so he can influence things outside. So it's all creepy, does it? It gives me the willies. And they try to do it in a scientific way, using like quantum theory, as a basis, to explain, supernatural things. Because in quantum theory, you can't explain everything because that's how it works. As I said before, it's all to do with uncertainty in it, and probabilities. So that's that's all about. So we'll leave it there. That's the end of the film. I'd give it. Oh no, I'm not scoring. It's not a review, is it? I was just going to say I'll give it a whatever out of 10, but I won't. We'll leave it there because I really enjoy that film. And now, what I've got to do now, I've got to go and watch another horror film that starts with the letter G, because I'm doing an A to Z for Halloween. I know I shouldn't really say what time of year it is at the moment, but we're in Halloween, because this is supposed to be evergreen content that you can watch whenever. But so I've got to watch a horror film beginning with the letter G. I'm sure I'll dig something out. But we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining me to watch Prince of Darkness on this Friday night. So don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say the...